Hi, I'm Shayna Porter, and I am with Longview Unplugged. We started in the summer of 2021 as a digital arts and culture magazine, bringing awareness to artists and businesses in East Texas. This is the inaugural episode of the Longview Voice, which is our podcast that it will be continuing that idea. I have with me today Casey Muze, CEO of Avenue Speak. Is that correct?
Sure.
Okay. CEO of Avenue Speak, which is a mental health organization that works with patients with dementia, ADHD individuals, stuff like that, through holistic drumming and some other really interesting exercises. He recently collaborated on a book, and we're going to talk about that today. That book released April 16th, and the link to purchase the book will be available in the description.
Yeah.
Okay, so the title of the book is Holistic Mental Health Volume 2. How did you become invited, I guess, to collaborate on the book? How did that come about?
So I signed up for a social media platform called Alignable that had not been on before, was really interested in because got recommended to me. Well, I got invited to sign up for it by another good friend of mine who is credible, because y'all know sometimes in this digital space, trusting people is a weird thing or a weird topic, right? Mm-hmm. So since it was her, I obliged and I signed up for it, and then I went through the phases of filling out my profile and putting all my information in the bio and all my links and everything. And I kid you not, no less than 24 hours, I received an email from a lady named Laura Mazzata, who I believe is from New York, and I hope I get that right. If not, I hope her and I have a conversation about the right information just for my sake so I can know. But she had curated and was in charge of this series of books called Holistic Mental Health. And so she had already published one, and I call it the team of Laura's because there's Laura Mazzata and Laura DeFranco, who was helping us curate and facilitate and kind of cultivate what the ending portion of the projects, of everybody's projects are. When I say everybody's projects, we'll get there. So she said, "Hey, I'm working on a project." She asked me, can you participate in a Zoom call? And so in the beginning of the Zoom call, she gave me all the praises for my website and my services and all the things that were there. She said, "Hey, I have this project. I would like for you to consider being a part of it. It's a book, and I would like for you to contribute a chapter. It's celebrating holistic mental health. And so we have volume 1, and it's out, and it's on Audible. I'll send you the link. You can check it out and kind of see what it's all about, get your feet wet in the dialogue and just the gist of what it is in the platform, right?" And so Holistic Mental Health Volume 1, and I spent some time just kind of digesting what it was and realized that I really wanted to be a part of Volume 2 and be one of many authors that provide holistic wellness services, because what Volume 1 and Volume 2 is Volume 2 is a list of 25 wellness holistic professionals in the United States that provide wellness services. And so each chapter is testimony and leading into what services they provide and why they provide those services, how those things connect, right? So, yeah. Several months later, and this was like the ending of last year, like November, December, but several months later or a few months later, here I am about to be a published author now.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So I read the chapter, and one of the impressive things to me about it is that you draw so much from your personal experiences and how you got started with the holistic drumming. And one of the things that I kind of wanted to bring attention to is like, you didn't go into this with a plan that this is what you were going to do with your life. No. You went into this as in you needed the mental help. You talk a lot about your own personal struggles with anxiety and depression and how you kind of just discovered that drumming was a therapeutic practice, and you also drew a lot of influence from your mother, and which I think is fantastic. I want you to speak a little bit about how you got started with that on your own personal journey and how you discovered that you could then turn it into a tool to help other people.
I don't know that I still am sure how I need to answer that question. I feel like there's so many facets and dynamics that take place along the journey of what that has looked like for me. I think the last time I answered that question is I started with when I was 2, I dragged out pots and pans. And then when I was in elementary school, and so I guess I'm just kind of giving you planted seeds of how God has guided that journey in my life, but used my mom as a conduit of what that looked like to plant those seeds in a physical form, right? But yeah, when I was 2, I dragged out pots and pans. And instead of getting irritated and frustrated, she said, "These are yours to play for an hour a day." And side note, as I got older, I realized how much of a sacrifice that had to have been for her, because I had to realize that at some point in time that was annoying as I don't know, right? Like that was a huge sacrifice for her to make. So, all the homages to her in my journey, right? But when I was older than that, like some point in time in elementary school, she started teaching at the school that I went to, Sabine Elementary in Liberty City, for geographical reference. She had one of the many trampolines in the house because she worked with the less than cognitive mobility clients or students in school, right? And so what she did was she had backdrops of arrows, and so she gave me the daily objective of jumping up and down on this trampoline and moving my arms back and forth and up to the direction of the arrows. So then she would add colored arrows, and then she'd tell me go in reverse and go backwards and go inside out, go right to left, go left to right, go from the middle. And so she would plant all of these different patterns and sequences in direction of optional cognitive thinking, right, in my head and in my just foundation of life. And as I get older, and I realized that there's a term that I use a lot, and it's very true and very near and dear to all of my practices, called bilateral adaptation. And so what that is it's adding all of the senses, and it's also based on this idea of different learning styles, right? It's the tactile, auditory, but just all the different learning styles that we have kind of left behind and have been dismissive of as educational personnel, right? And when I got ready to go on my own mental health journey, when I lived in Dallas, Texas, and was just going through it, I reached in that bag of memories and things that I used to do, and just redirective things that my mom gave me. And I don't even really know that I've shared a lot of these things with her. I'm pretty sure she knows that they're there, because I know that she did them for a reason. But I don't really know that she had any idea of how they were going to play out and how they were going to be useful for me.
The tools.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. At what point, I guess, in that process did you decide, or even I guess how it happened, where you started to use this and realize that it was something that you could use to help other people? Because you've built an entire living. You're making a living off of this, helping other people, this thing that helped you so much.
Yeah.
And it's kind of magical.
Hold on. I kind of say that one more time. That. How did you? No. Say the part where you said, I've made a living off of, say that part again. You've
made a living, you've found a way to make this a living for yourself, but you're also helping other people. So you took this tool and you've turned it around and you've, I know from watching you on social media and stuff like that, like you're in schools, you're in nursing homes, like you took this thing that helped you, and instead of just keeping it for yourself, you've turned it into an entire platform, essentially, to help other people. So it's your life now.
Yeah, that's crazy to hear someone say that. I just had to live in that for a moment. So
we see it.
Sometimes I don't think I do. I mean, sometimes I do. Like, sometimes I literally have to take a step back and say, dude, I really have made a life of drumming and writing with people and healing. Yeah, like
art and healing. That's cool, man.
Yeah, like it's insane. It really is. I don't even know what your original question was anymore.
When did that start? Like, was it somebody invited you to something, or did you just like?
No, man. No, I'm sorry. I think that was another season as well. It's like everything is just seasons of life. It's so crazy. It's such a humbling thing. So I'm gonna start that with what happened in a space of time in life for me is I lost everything, which what I mean by that is, so I'm very Christian. And I'm very unapologetic about that. So I'm going to be extremely unapologetic about the fact that I'm Christian in this space. God gave me the opportunity to be what I verbalized to him that I wanted to be, which was a professional music producer and a drummer for rock bands and hip hop artists, right? And he gave me that space, and he gave me all opportunity to be successful, but I squandered the gifts and talents that he gave me, and I misused all things. He then in turn said, you have to move back to Longview. I then in turn was like, He then in turn made me move back to Longview anyway. He then in turn took all of the time away for me to work on music. And I was like, ugh. He said, here's a hand drum. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? And he said, you'll figure it out.
Boy, did you.
And then I moved to this little magical place called Nacogdoches, Texas. I say that because that's how it's spelled.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Not that that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, but that is definitely how it's spelled, right? Yeah, and when I moved to Nacogdoches, Texas, I was in a space to where I realized that doing music for self-appeasement was not part of my journey anymore. That transitioning my way of thinking to using music to heal and be in a place to give life and give time and give capacity or create capacity for others was my purpose that I needed to dwell in.
That's so beautiful.
And so that's where I started, in Nacogdoches, Texas. In 2000, I'm talking December 23rd of 2015. So 2016, I started these endeavors officially of education and drumming and music and celebrating art in a place of gifting capacity of time.
I love that. I know the majority of the chapter is written about specifically holistic drumming and stuff like that, but sure. Avenue Speak actually provides a much wider array of services. Sure. And you have different techniques and things that you do when you go into the schools and into the nursing homes and you're working with people. Can you speak a little bit about how all of this, I guess, grew from the drumming?
Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. One day at a time. I think that's my answer for that. Is I like to piggyback off of what you said, I don't know that I had a plan for any of this.
Right.
I truly don't. I don't know that I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I just knew that drumming was me and I was drumming. I call myself now, two things that I call myself. And one of these things that I call myself is the responsibility of this guy named Isaac, who did 2 podcasts for me. But on the first podcast, he called me the Mr. Rogers of hand drums.
Accurate.
So I enjoy that so much that I now salute to him, call myself the Mr. Rogers of hand drums.
I love it.
But then I also, sometimes I call myself the Black Mr. Rogers of hand drums because I'm Black, especially in February. When I'm feeling real Black. Right. So, yeah. And I also call myself Little Drummer Boy because it's just connected to all the things that are me.
Can you, I'm interested to know, like, I guess, how, like, it has to be rewarding, right? When you go work with, I'm a severely ADHD individual, so I know, like, neurodivergence is rough for us and for the parents. We're all going through it. We're just going through it in different ways. I want to know a little bit about your experiences in working with the neurodivergent community and specifically through music, because the mental health space is expanding and we're learning more about it, but these alternative holistic practices, I don't think anybody's talking about and how effective they can be. Are there instances where you have noticed a visible difference or had feedback from parents and or kids about the experience?
There's several of which I had, and there's several of which I had not. So I think sometimes the most rewarding portions for me are when the parents understand in real time what I am doing. So I always have, when I'm providing trap learning with the parents, which is my neurodivergent specific, and I say mine, it's not mine. It's a guy named Eddie Tundor from California who granted me the opportunity to be a provider of that program. All of the other programs are my programs that I have written and provide, but that one is his that I'm humbled to be able to provide. But in time that parents understand what I'm doing and they get it in those moments, or they see progression with their children, even when their children are adults, because sometimes I have adult clients, they're 20 plus, sometimes they're verbal, sometimes they're nonverbal. But when parents can get it, then that's when I think it is the most honoring for me.
They did this yesterday. So. Do we need to pause?
We can pause, but that will be in the video. It's fine.
It'll be fine. Let's pause for a minute. It's fine. It'll be fine.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about what it is that you do?
So, backstory on how what I do was formed is Avenue Speak essentially started off as nothing but a public speaking platform for myself to be a public speaker and talk about drumming primarily. It's really all I desire to do. And I worked in the capacity of substance abuse counseling, so having that therapeutic approach to most of the things that I do from counseling, it morphed into something bigger than that. So what Avenue Speak does currently and for the foreseeable future is we write, we drum, we mentor.
Okay.
And so what that means is we provide all of the drumming therapeutic approaches specifically, but not limited to ECE, so daycare. So we do early childhood education and cognitive development in those spaces. We do the neurodivergent space, which is what's called trap learning, which is the Rhythm Arts Project learning, which is autism, Down syndrome, ADD, ADHD, and dyslexia. We also have a elder care called Percussion Pathways, which is memory care, dementia, and also veteran care. Covers that space as well. We celebrate writing in the creative space and also for trauma and healing purposes. We specifically do teens in this space right now, to where we have a monthly writing workshop at the Foundry Coffee Shop in Tyler, Texas, and it's absolutely for no charge whatsoever. All you do is, you don't even have to sign up, you just show up. But I would love if you signed up and gave me a call and let me know so I could put you on the list. But you don't have to. It's fine. And we also have King Avenue Mentorship, which is a mentorship program that I have designed and crafted specifically for younger teen males and then younger adult males as well. And when I say we, I need to stop saying that because it's really just me. Actually, I don't think I need to stop saying that, but it is. It's me.
I think that's also, something that is super necessary is the mentorship programs, because there's not a lot of that.
Yeah.
How'd you get started with the mentorship?
One day I realized the importance of mentors over my life and wanted to create space for me to be in the same opportunity as they did and they afforded me. I would not be where I am right now if it wouldn't have been for those mentors that gave me space. In fact, fun fact, Muze is actually not my name. It's like nowhere in it whatsoever. It's a name that they gave me specifically with the Z. And so part of me having that name is strictly homage to them.
I love that. Okay, so talk me through a little bit. I know you started with spoken word, right? Spoken word has been a big part of like who you are and what you do.
That was by accident. And that wasn't even on purpose either. Sure.
But you use spoken word and drumming together, right?
Yeah.
So those tie in together. Talk to me a little bit about that process and how it works and how it can be used to help someone.
I really don't know that it can. And here's what I like, and this is a candid conversation, right?
Right.
I don't profess to be a spoken word artist to teach spoken word in that space. I believe spoken word is completely different than poetry because I write a lot, but I think the space of writing poetry looks different than writing spoken word. Spoken word is definitely more of the space of performance and understanding cadence and volume level or dynamics and voice inflection, right? And I think that's something that I am boldly confident in, which is hilarious because I did terrible at public speaking when I was in college. Go figure. But I know for me, being a person who looked at people like Tupac Shakur and Maya Angelou and people that did poetry but also did it well whenever they spoke their poetry when I was a child, and then at some point in time, like a lot of my story is just planted seeds and then the talent grew later. It wasn't anything that typically happens in the worldly fashion, right? Like it was like, okay, I'm gonna plant this seed in him now, and then 10 years later, he's gonna see it happen, or 15 years later. That is literally how my life has worked. Nothing that I've worked for, that I worked at, I'm good at now, and like it didn't happen like that.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, so with the holistic healing and in the space that you're in, have you faced any kind of like skepticism or
every day
challenges?
Oh my God. How long were you waiting to ask me that question? Since the start. Every day.
I mean, there's already
all the time
a stigma attached with mental health in general, and that's like even just like I feel like our generation is the generation that it's actually okay to talk about. I went to a therapist today.
For sure.
Right? Like, that is not a thing with our parents. Like,
No.
you know, I'm not going to generalize all of them, but like the open discussions about mental health is a very new and recent development, right?
Well, but for me, this is what's so important for me to celebrate myself in this space is, and even when you look at, so if you look at, which I probably should share this post with you so that you can look at it for reference on Facebook, but if you look at the list of authors that are in Holistic Mental Health Volume 2, I am the only African American. I am one of 4 or 5 males, and I am one of 2 Texas representatives, I think, but there's not that many. But I'm the only Black person in that space whatsoever, and so I think even added to that skepticism that people already have for the people that I am looking at to typically partner with, or typically do work with, or typically do business with. You know, a lot of times I say words that are scary. Even in that space, if you say the word holistic, skepticism already, right? If you say the word full body, like anything that you preach about that is different than, if you say anything other than medication, it's like out the door, stereotypically, right? But then to have this person come up and speak to you who is like 6'3" and has dreadlocks and typically has like 8 or 9 drums in his car at all points in time, and he names them all very celebratorily. Not these 2, because I have like 10 of those and and they look similar. But the other one, the steel drum, its name, yeah.
I mean, it's not that different. Lots of people name things that I know lots of people who've named their car. So
I have done that at one point in time. But my perspective on it is I don't really care.
Right.
Because
who cares?
I am here to be the messenger to the world that thinking about things differently and stepping out of your comfort zone, which is the same exact thing that these people that show me rigidity will preach. But I make them uncomfortable and they don't see the similarity in what they preach and then what is presented to the table. Right. In growth.
It's different when you're acting on it versus when you're talking. It's a lot easier to talk about things than it is to actually do them.
For sure.
You know, and I know we've had past conversations for Black History Month. We had the conversation about how you're representing a space that is underrepresented in the Black community, and you know how those conversations don't.
Yeah.
Like, you're the only one having the conversation. Not the only one, but like
I'm one of.
There's very few people in that space having the conversations and speaking out about it, and so you know I think that that's a powerful kind of just testament to the representation and getting out of that comfort zone, and the positivity that will inevitably come from that for people. So the book came out on April 16th. Do you have anything, you know, planned for the future for Avenue Speak? Anything coming up that people should be aware of or know about? So
the next thing that I will have planned, if you have bought the book or haven't bought the book yet, if you haven't bought the book, this is your perfect opportunity to buy the book, because what I'm doing next is a book signing party for the book. I will do 2 locations. I will do one in, well, possibly 3, but I'm not going to release the 3rd location's idea yet. But I know of 2 spaces that I'm going to do it in. One is in Tyler, and then one is in Nacogdoches, Texas, because that's the town that I grew out. So I have born town, I grew up town, and then I grew out town, right? But Nacogdoches is a town that I celebrate to the fullest. And so I am headed back to Nacogdoches to do a book signing party there. And in these book signing parties, I'm going to be doing a live reading of my chapter. Because there's something different about the spirit and the place and the presence of hearing the voice of the person that wrote what they wrote, no matter who wrote it.
And it's so beautifully written. I read it twice. I had to take a minute because it's so, what I love about it is it's just so raw and authentic. And you can definitely tell that it's written like from your heart space, which is what I love about it, right? Because you've taken this thing and like maybe you didn't intend for it to be this, but that's what it became.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, especially when the conversations about mental health, the dialogue needs to stay open.
Yeah.
And also, like, there's not one correct solution for any given person. Like, you know, what works for me won't necessarily work for you.
No.
So providing those different programs and opportunities is something that I think is really an amazing thing. And I love that you get to be a part of the conversation, especially published. That's awesome. That's an accomplishment.
No, it's wonderful. It is. Yeah, for sure.
Will you walk me through a drumming exercise?
I will.
I would love to try one.
Okay.
I've been very excited about that. I get paid to do this.
So, you count to 4 for me?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Great. So, your 1 is your right hand. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Okay. 1 is your right hand.
Okay.
2 is your left hand. 3 is your right hand. 4 is your left hand. Right.
Okay.
Play it just like that.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good. Play it slower,
Okay.
like 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, I want you to play it slower, but start off in the right tempo and pace because your 1 was rushing into your 2.
Okay.
I'm going to count you in. My counting is going to go 1 and play 1, 2, 3, 4. You ready? 1 and play.
Oh.
1 and play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, have you ever played any sport whatsoever?
I played soccer briefly. I was not good.
I wasn't good at soccer when I played either. What position did you play?
Right mid.
Okay. Did you play any other sport that required you to catch any spherical object?
I played basketball, but in literal elementary school.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Do you remember when you played basketball, they taught you that when you catch the basketball, having soft hands and having your hands pull back into or draw into the catch when you caught it, otherwise the ball would fly through your hands. Right? So this is the same concept when you play drums. In order to get the full effective volume, I want you to have soft hands. That means you play a catch and release. Instead of pawing at it, draw your hands out.
Okay.
Every note, unless otherwise directed to, but for now, every note, right?
Okay.
1 and play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now we're going to focus on what's called accents, right? So actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this for time's sake. So there's a triangle. It's imaginary, but it's over there, and you're looking at it. It's in front of you, right? So for this, we're going to do 1, 2, clap. So you are going to do 1, 2, clap. 1, 2, clap. 1, 2, clap. So this is a 3-4 time practice. So instead of 1, 2, 3, there's not a space there. There's not a 4. You automatically go into 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's right, left, clap, right, left, clap, right, left, clap. Got it? Ready and play. Right, left, clap, right, left. Good. Now do it in reverse.
Oh no.
Clap, left, right.
Okay.
Clap, left, right. Clap, left, right. Got it? Ready and go. Clap, left, right. Clap, left, right. Clap, left, right. Good. Now do it forward and then backward.
Okay.
Right, left, clap, clap, left, right, right, left, clap,
Okay.
clap, left, right. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Ready, and go. Right, left, clap, clap, left, right, 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 left, clap, clap, left, right. Okay.
It's a mind and body exercise.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's
Now,
like-
when you add the idea of color sequencing to it as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of saying right, left, clap, clap, left, right, you're saying red, orange, blue, blue, orange, red, red, orange, blue, blue, orange, red, as opposed to hand movement.
Mm-hmm.
It looks different. Try
Right.
that.
Okay, so red, orange, blue, blue, orange, red.
Now just try red, orange, blue for now.
Red, orange, blue.
Continuously
Okay.
red, orange, blue, which is right, left, clap.
Okay.
Red, orange, blue, red, orange, blue, red, orange, blue, red. Now you're rushing that clap. Red,
Yep.
orange, blue, red, orange, blue, red, orange, blue, red, orange, blue. Right? Now, blue, orange, red. Ready? Ready, and go. Blue, orange, red, blue, orange, red, blue, orange, red, blue, orange, red. Now, red, orange, blue, blue, orange, red.
Okay.
Ready, and go. Red, orange, blue, blue, orange, red, red, orange, blue, blue, orange, red. Okay.
That goes back into what you were talking about your mom had you do with the arrows at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Now, if you do those things, the reason why that works so well with ADHD, all neurodivergent, right? But specifically ADHD and ADD is because the attention span of an individual with ADHD and ADD is so flighty because there's so much going on in their head that they've consumed, right? And even if it's not physical tasks and physical objects, even just the mental objects are hell-bent to stay focused on one thing, right? So what that does is that teaches you long-term what it looks like to focus on and pivot just in one space and the practice of that, right? So practicing that one time a day for 5 minutes does the cognitive mind a world of good.
Yeah. That makes complete sense to me.
Because it's continuous
You're
as well.
you're training your mind to be, and I learned this in therapy, to be actually present in the moment, because one thing about neurodivergence is dissociation, or like not being in your body all the time. So like I can be here talking to you, but I'm not like conscious of like my hands. Right. So like that pulls you back into your body and makes you think about the things that you're doing as you're doing them.
Yep. It's very holistic.
There's that word again. That big scary word.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. I feel like we should have had that
At the beginning,
queued up or
holistic. Bump, bump.
Yeah.
Throw something in there. It'll be fine.
Yeah. It'll be fun for sure.
So I guess I'm going to close with what, for people that are just starting out on their mental health journey, or people that think that they, might need help, what would your advice to them be on how to get started and, seek that? Because there's one thing in acknowledging that it's beneficial, and then there's a whole other thing actually getting up and going and getting the help.
Yeah. I truly think the first thing that you should do is evaluate your honesty and your willingness to be honest, because no matter who you decide to speak to in regard to your mental health, they can't completely give you wisdom, advice, and intervention and experiences and rerouting if you're not completely honest with your social dynamics and norms and symptoms and things that you're going through currently. I think the second step is choosing the people that you have along that journey wisely, because sometimes people are poor at doing that.
Yep. That makes complete sense. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Oh, for sure.
We are going to include links to the Avenue Speak social media and website. If y'all have not purchased the book, I highly recommend it. The chapter is amazing. I can't imagine what other valuable information is going to be in the book from all the other contributors as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's fantastic. Y'all follow Casey Muze on social media and Avenue Speak and look out for the book signings. So y'all can go get a signed copy. It'd be pretty great. But I definitely appreciate you coming on the podcast and taking the time to go through this with me, because I think that it's important to know that people in East Texas exist and that they're helping, that they're doing things, that there are people in this community that are innovative and creative and using that to help. Yeah. So I appreciate that.
For sure. Thank you, Shayna. Yeah.